Hola. Hi, good afternoon. How are you, Juan?
Fine, thanks, Anina. And you, how are you?
Fine, thank you. Hello to all of you. Sorry that last week we couldn't go live, so maybe today we have more questions. I hope everything is working well to all of you. I know that a lot of people is coming now for the new courses or the new life here in Spain, and they are trying to come September, October because of their children also that they will go to school. So I hope this is useful for you. We, like always, we are going to share a little the usual questions that we get these days, and in addition we will be answering live the questions that you have now and that you can write here in Facebook or YouTube, and we will be happy to answer you. Juan, what do you think? What do you think it is a good thing to explain? We were talking about the couples that are not registered yet, which is very important. So remember that the ban for foreigners in order to come here as tourists, because if you have a residency you are fine, but in order to enter Spain as tourists, you you are not able right now because of COVID. So there are several exceptions, very few exceptions, and one of the most usual one is the family member of a European Union citizen. And remember that we always explain that there is marriage, that there is also pareja de hecho, and the third option is stable couple. And until now, Juan will explain now, but until now, in order to come with this exception, in order to cross border and show that we are a family member, so we are entitled to come to Spain, they were only accepting pareja de hecho or marriage certificate. But now there's been a clarification because a lot of you are couples that live together, but maybe you don't have a pareja de hecho certificate because you live in another country where the pareja de hecho doesn't exist, or because you haven't registered your pareja de hecho, but you are entitled to be together in Spain. But in order to be entitled, you need to be able to show that you are a couple. It's the same for the residency permit once you are here. But Juan is going to explain you how to get that exception in order to cross border, which is the most difficult thing, to come into the plane. And once there are like two important moments to come here without a visa, or even with a visa, because they are coming very picky and they are a little nervous, and even with visas they are telling you that you cannot come or things like that. So imagine without a visa. There are two important moments. One is entering into the plane, and another one is at the airport in Madrid. For example, I had information from a couple the 3 weeks ago, that it was Spanish with US citizen, okay? Because to the UK they were entitled to enter at that point, at least 3 weeks ago. The US citizen took a flight to the UK, and from the UK he was expecting to come to Spain, and that were their plan, with no documents showing that they were couple or nothing like that. So when he reached the UK, okay, they even allow him to took the flight to Madrid, and here in Madrid they didn't allow to stay. Here at the airport in Madrid, they made him went back to the UK. So for you to understand that it's becoming difficult, that maybe you can go to the UK, but you cannot come to Spain. Or I have a client now that I have to write here that maybe they can come from the UK, but as Juan Carlos is going to explain, showing that you are a couple and with a stable relationship. So Juan, let us know, how should they do it?
That's it. As I know, I was saying, up to the 20th of August, they were allowing the relative European Union citizen and residents to come to Europe and to Spain, okay? And they were very clear. We consider relatives, to son, to a daughter, to a son, children, okay? And to the wife or husband of a European Union citizen. You could come even if you haven't registered your marriage in Spain, because just to remind you, if you are married outside of Spain with a Spanish citizen, you have to register your marriage in Spain or at the consulate just to formalize your union with the European Union citizen. But even with the marriage certificate, apostille, you were able to enter Spain, proving that you have that you are indeed married. But of course, not everyone gets married today. This is something that people choose to do sometimes, and sometimes they don't. Sometimes they just stay together, they have children, they have all their lives together, but they choose not to marry. And not because they are not married, they are not a couple. So the Ministry of Foreign Affairs understood this gladly, and they issued an order stating that even the stable couples are going to be allowed into Spain. And how is going to be allowed? Because we have, as I know, I stated, two filters. And the first filter, it will be the airport, the airline, that they have to allow you to board the plane. And sometimes they are even tougher than the police in Spain to allow you to go into the plane, even when the police is saying that everything is right, that you are going to be able to enter. The airline doesn't understand, because remember, if the airline allows you to come into the plane, to board the plane and come to Spain, and in here you are rejected by the Spanish police, the immigration police, then they will have to pay for you to go back to your country, and they will have to pay a fine for allowing you to come here even when you didn't have the right. So
yes, that's why they are so picky.
Exactly. So they are extremely cautious when allowing someone to come to board the plane. Okay. So the Ministry of Foreign Affairs stated, okay, stable couples can come into Spain, but how do we say that we are a stable couple? It's enough that we show that we have been talking in Tinder for 6 months and now it's moving very fast. No, you have to show something else. A picture of you kissing you, not enough. We have to show that this relationship has lasted for a long time, maybe a year, a little longer. Okay, and how do you prove this? Well, leasing contracts where you appear together, joint bank accounts, proving that you are going to get married, but you don't have, but you are getting the license. Anything, any documents, public or private documents that show that you two have been living together, or that you are indeed together, that you can prove that you send money to the other person, that you get packages in the address of that person, anything. Of course, if you have children together, then that would be very good. But if not, if you can prove by public and private documents that you are together, then you have the proof of an stable and long relationship. But that is not enough, because if you go to the airline and you show that, they are going to say, that's wonderful, but you cannot come to the airplane. And you have to show us that you are going to be allowed into Spain. And that's why they say that you have to contact the consulate, okay? So you have to contact the consulates, the consulate where you are right now, and you have to say, hey, I'm a stable couple of a European Union citizen, of a Spanish citizen. I'm going either to travel with him or her, because you may travel together, or I'm going to join him or her there, because he or she is already there, and we have to prove that, okay? That's one of the requirements, that either you are traveling with that person, with your couple, or that person is already in Spain and is going to come to join you because you are living or you are going to be together in Spain. And you have to contact the consulate. You have to say, hey, I need a special permit in order for me to travel to Spain. I'm a relative of a European Union citizen, of a Spanish citizen. This is the public, the notary declaration before a notary in Spain from my husband, or this is the public declaration before a notary here in the country where I am, stating that we have been together for more than a year. this is the contract that we have together, this is the tickets and flights of travels that we did together before, the booking reservations of a hotels where we attended before, anything that we can show that you are indeed a couple. And after that, the consulate will say, hey, you are indeed a couple and you will be able to travel. This is not the exact case, but for example, let me show you something that just happened last week. Okay, we had an American citizen living in Qatar, and her husband was living here in Madrid, in Spain, not in Madrid, but in Spain, and they got married in the United States. So she wanted to travel, and the airline was, in Spain we say, más papista que el Papa. They were tougher than the police itself, and they were saying that that she would not travel to Spain because the marriage was not registered in Spain already. So, and that takes a long time. So what we did is we did two things, okay? First, we contacted the airline, and second, we contacted the consulate, okay? And after a really tough time, stating that yes, she can enter, and that even with these new rules, the stable couples could enter, it was not understandable that they were not allowing a wife of a European Union citizen to come into Spain. And both the consulate in Qatar issued a document stating that indeed she could travel, and the airline gave the okay to board to travel. Okay, so it's not as simple as it seems. It's not just like showing that you're a couple, but to show an official document, in this case from the consulate, proving that you are indeed are. So yes, these are very good news, because if you are still a couple with a long relationship, then you will be able to join your partner, travel with your partner to Spain, and they are going to allow it, but you have to prove it. And for that, for advice, get a notary declaration. Okay, that's a public document, and a public document is much more better than a private document. But also put together that with and gather all the documents that make proof that you're a couple, so you can contact the consulate, and of course you can always contact us to tell you what would be the best strategy for you. Try to work this out. But yes, couples, I mean, you cannot be a long time without meeting each other. It's been months since the lockdown. It's been months since the borders are closed. So now is the time for you to be reunited. And but if you gather the good documents, you will be able to enter Spain like that.
So, and a recommendation from here for all of you that you are in fact married to a Spanish citizen, even if you are not planning to come right now, remember that one is mandatory to get registered the marriage. And the second thing is that in these kind of cases, so imagine that suddenly something changed and you really want to come, it will be much easier for you if you already have the marriage already registered. So remember to do it, because sometimes we don't remember it because we don't need it at that point, and whenever we need it, we don't have it yet, and it takes time to get a marriage to get registered. So remember, for all of you that you are married to a Spanish citizen, all even more important, that your husband or wife has become Spanish, because sometimes you forgot because you are married to someone that suddenly gets the Spanish citizenship, but because you are already married, you forget to get registered in Spain the marriage from your own country. So remember, it is mandatory, but it is true that there is, I don't know, from bad consequence from the government to punish you or fine you if you haven't done it. But it's true that this kind of things then makes you things much more easy than if you want to come and there are some restrictions. So as Juan said, you are allowed, but it was a fight with the air company. It was a lot of work talking to the consulates. Consulates are busy now. Everyone is very nervous. So even if you don't need it, but you are married, start the process to registering the marriage. There is no bad consequence at all of registering the marriage. it is a right, but it's also an obligation, and you will only get benefits from that. Even imagine in the in your late dates for even the pension, if your husband or wife dies or things like that. Okay, make things much more easy. Another thing that they are asking me a lot, and it's very important, they are asking me a lot, and we have clients with this problem. A lot of you got a visa, non-lucrative visa, for example, that we do a lot, but any kind of visa during COVID, but some of you, maybe you got it in February or March because there were some approvals, but you didn't come because of the COVID. You didn't travel, and now you want to come. This is a situation that we need to talk to the consulates. Some of them are going to ask to do all over again. Some others are going to be a little bit more flexible. Maybe they ask for an extra document and they issue it again, because if you check your visa, when they approve a visa, even that is for a year, the visa normally is just to enter and it's for 3 months normally. Okay, so you just have those 3 months to enter to Spain. Even that afterwards you will have your 1 year residency or whatever, or 2 years because it's investor or whatever. But if it's for those 3 months and they already passed, you cannot enter now without doing anything. Okay, you should contact the consulate and check what they want, if they are going to issue again one, or they want you to give them criminal records again, for example, or whatever they want to check again in order to get another visa. Is something that is happening a lot, because it's true, a lot of you decided to stay at your countries when you got these visas, but now people are coming to start the year because September a lot of things starts, and it's going to be an important point because COVID in Spain is getting a little high. So if there are changes, I think there are going to be even more restrictions. So if there are more restrictions, they are going to check very closely your visa. So take into considerations to travel before that expiration of the 90 days. But if your visa already expired, try to get it as soon as possible again. That is my recommendation. For example, now we have a case in Colombia that we need to check again what is happening with this client and what they want. We will let you know. For example, in Brazil, they were saying to ask again for the visa, right, Juan? What did they tell you I think in Brazil? They were asking us to submit again everything. I remember. If the person was not, well, this was a marriage. If the marriage was not traveling in those 90 days, we were in the day like 80, whatever, 85. They told us that we had to start all over again the process, and now consulates are even a little bit more slow because there are working less because of these all restrictions. So, well, that is things that we are seeing, and we try to share with you, just if you are in a similar circumstance. Okay, Juan, I don't know if you want to share something else, or we go for the questions.
Yeah, that changes a lot with every consulate. For example, in Argentina, they are being flexible. They are stating, yes, you may come and we are going to issue a new visa. In Mexico, they say that if you didn't travel, you have to get a new visa again.
Well, Mexico always have like the worst solution. Huh? I know that you are Mexican and you are great, Juan, but the consulate in Mexico, well, really the consulate in Mexico is run by Spanish people, but they were very, very, very bad.
Yeah, that's it. And this is, I know, for example, this is one of the documents that we got. This is censored, okay? It doesn't have any personal information. This is the document that we got from the consulate, from a consulate stating that a person can travel. And this is what the person is going to show to the airport to get into the airplane and then to enter Spain. Because this is the consul in there stating directly that this person can indeed enter to Spain. And they say it like this: according to the current rules and regulations, Mrs. whatever can indeed enter to Spain. Moreover, this case has been object of a consultation with the relevant authorities in Spain, and this certificate has been issued as an agreement with the authorities in Spain. So this is something that you should get if you are a stable couple or if you have not been registered and the airline is putting obstacles. And remember, contact the airline a week or two before you travel because you're going to need to get the okay to board, and that takes time.
Yes. It's true. And also, let's review the exceptions. Okay, we said family members, but there are also some other exceptions, which the most significant, or I think the one that it is more recurrent, is also the highly qualified workers in order to come for a meeting. Okay. And the other exception that we already have done also, it is for medical circumstances. So one of the exceptions that is very usual is if you are a highly qualified worker and you need to come for a business meeting that you need to give even more importance to. That it's just not a business meeting that you can do it through Skype or Zoom or whatever. We need to show that you really need to come, and it doesn't, it cannot be delayed, okay? Then it will come into place an exception and you will be able to come to Spain. And the other are medical reasons. If you have an appointment, something at the doctors in Spain, it is also an exception that they must allow you to enter in Spain. In addition to all the residency application that you can enter, also the student applicants can enter with a visa, okay? Remember that the students usually can come as a tourist and apply from here, but with the restrictions in COVID, you are not able to do that. You will need to apply for a visa and have it, try to do it with time because, well, they take time. That's why we always recommend, when it's possible, we always recommend for you to come as a tourist and apply from here, because consulates are not that quick. But now that is not possible. So remember, you should apply for a visa at the consulate, a student visa at the consulate. And if you need any help, of course, we are here to help you. For the renewals, of course, the best thing is to have a autorización de regreso, but a lot of you don't have an autorización de regreso. So we are helping you to come back with the renewal done. If you have already the approval, even better, okay? And we try to prepare like a package to enter that shows that you are a student, that you are in a period of renewal, and that you have the favorable, or that you are in that you are in process and classes start now. And that is not only for students. Maybe you have a renewal as resident, and you want to enter the same way, okay? If you don't have an autorización de regreso, don't lose the willing to come. You have two options: or you come with this package that we prepare, like explaining that you should be able to come with the renewal, or you can apply for a special visa at the consulate that is for these people that you have lost the NIE or whatever, you don't have a document that shows what is your status in Spain. There is a visa special for that at the consulate that will stamp you and you can enter. That is the safer way. So if you are a person that really wants to be 100% sure that you are going to be able to enter, then that is your way to come. Going to the consulate and asking for that visa, showing that you are in a process of renewal and that you have the approval or that you are in process, and they should give you this kind of visa. If you don't want to wait that much and you feel comfortable not having the 100% sure to be able to come, you will have a 75%. We've been successful with all the cases, but we cannot guarantee you. Then you can come without that visa and showing all the documents that you were legal resident or legal student and that you are in a process of renewal and that you should be allowed to enter. That are the two ways to enter if you don't have right now a valid NIE. Right, Juan?
Yeah, that's it. That would be.
Okay. Let's go for the questions, Raquel. Okay, Andrea says, hi, I had a residencia de búsqueda de empleo and I found a job. They did the paperwork for residencia para prácticas over a month ago and I have just been dada de alta in Social Security and I've been told I'm officially employed now. My question is, what documents do I have to show to renew my TIE? It still says residencia de búsqueda de empleo. It still says residencia en búsqueda de empleo and it expires at the end of October. Also, can I apply for residencia de trabajo por cuenta ajena? Thank you. Okay. What I think is that they have applied, the company, because it's the company who applies, has applied for residencia de prácticas, okay? And now you have the approval and that's why you have the alta en seguridad social. So now with that approval, you need to go to the police for the fingerprints. You need to get an appointment for fingerprints, which is very difficult, okay? And you will get another NIE, a new NIE that is called Residencia por Prácticas. The duration is going to vary because it depends on the contract that they have submit. If it was for 6 months, okay, they are giving to you for 6 months. And I'm telling you this because if it's for 6 months, normally they are not going to issue a new NIE because for residency of less than 6 months, they don't issue NIEs, okay? If it's for more than 6 months, they will issue a new NIE and this will be the NIE. The cuenta ajena, you will be able to apply whenever you have a 1-year residency. So now you had the búsqueda de empleo, okay? But I don't know if you have had it for 6 months or for a year. When you comply a year, you are able to apply for cuenta ajena, which we always say that is better because you are not attached to the company. That is the only difference because with residencia por prácticas, you can work. So the rights are the same, but you are attached to the company. If you want to switch company, you need to change residencies. If you are in cuenta ajena, you can switch companies. In order for the other question, renewal. In order to renew, you will need to show another contract, okay? And remember, you can only renew residencia de prácticas, okay, for a maximum of 2 years from the time that you finalize your degree or your master's degree, okay? So if you ended 1 year ago your master's degree and they already have done a residencia de prácticas for another year, you already complete the 2 years. So the renewal cannot be another residencia de prácticas because when they see the degree, they are, or the master's degree, they are going to see that you already have more than 2 years from your degree or last degree, and they are not going to approve it. In this case, will be a cuenta ajena. which is very similar, but it's very important to choose the right process at the point that you are, because if not, you get a denial, and if you get a denial and your NIE expires, you don't have the way to change then to cuenta ajena, okay? And differences, for example, cuenta ajena has an appointment, a physical appointment. Well, in Barcelona, they are accepting online, right, Juan? In Barcelona, it's online. But in Madrid, we already said that when now they are not accepting anymore in cuenta ajena the online appointment, which is a shame, because it was much more comfortable, and especially in Madrid, which is difficult to get appointments. I don't know. I think I have answered everything. Do you want to add something?
Yeah, maybe I think that something that could have happened with Andrea is because she filed the paperwork like over a month ago. So maybe they did the alta with the positive silence if it was in Madrid, because just imagining that it was in Madrid, because in practical we have the 30 days for positive silence. So maybe the company doesn't have the resolution stating that the permit has been approved, but they have given the alta on the Social Security based on that positive silence. So Andrea will not be able to get the new TIE until she actually gets the resolution, but all the other effects of the positive silence, like getting on alta on Social Security, but this is just a thought, because as you don't have, Andrea doesn't have the resolution with her, we are just guessing. And my guess is that if this is in Madrid, maybe what they did is that they set the alta on Social Security because of the positive silence, because more than 30 days have passed, and maybe she will have to wait to get the TIE until she gets the resolution, because in Madrid they are taking more than 3 months to issue the resolution.
It's true. I think you are right, and you are guessing right. So if that is the case, you really, in order to do fingerprints, as Juan said, you really need to wait for the approval. It cannot be a denial. Remember, if you are getting denials after 30 days, don't accept them, because it should be an approval, okay? That is why your company has done the enrollment in Social Security, because it cannot be a denial anymore. So, but they are not going to allow you to do fingerprints. They should, but we are not going to enter into a legal argument here. So wait for the resolution of approval. In any case, I recommend you to start looking for appointments, because there are not. So if you want, start looking for appointment. If the moment comes, the appointment comes and you don't have the resolution, then cancel it and get another one. But it is so difficult that start looking for that. And whenever you have the approval and the appointment, go there and you will get the new NIE. Okay, another question. Okay, Juan, this is for, well, I read it and you answer it if you agree with me.
This, I know. I think that you are the expert in these kind of cases.
Now it says Daniela Benzencan. Hi, I have recently signed the notary document for the Sephardi nationality, and I have decided to remain in Spain and apply for asylum. Wow. If they approve it, can I receive my documents in Spain? But what that's if they approve the asylum, or if they approve the nationality? Well, in any case, yes, you can. So the thing is, you are applying here, okay? Well, what do you think, Juan? So
I think that she actually applied there, and now she
okay.
notify the authorities in here that she has changed the address. Okay, so she will make like a submission stating, "Hey, I'm not longer in there. I'm in Spain." So she will have to notify the change of the address. Okay, so
okay, that she applied like outside, and now because she came like okay, because she came for the notary, she wants to apply for asylum. just one recommendation. As Juan said, we need to say that there is a change of address, okay, in order for you to finalize the process here. But a lot of you read a lot about asylum, okay, and it is fine. It is an option. But remember, okay, two things. Remember, the commitment one, it is like commitment with society, okay? The asylum is a very serious process for people that really need it. I feel a little uncomfortable with a lot of people just using this just in a way to be legal, because you are like booking all the system and all the process for people that really need it. And I'm not judging, because I understand that everyone has their needs, but I'm telling this because maybe you have other options and other good options, okay? Because asylum is a process that is thought for people that really need it. And it's true that you are going to get a pre-approval that will allow you to stay here. Not really. It's not permanent. It's like a medium status, but it's okay. But check if you can stay in another way, because well, because there are. And sorry, sorry.
Are you okay now? Fine? Yeah.
I need water.
Okay.
So, but in any case, sorry. Continue, Juan.
Yes, I will continue. Yes, just I think that for her it will be very good to add the documents to the Ministry of Justice. And I know I was saying, a lot of people like to apply for asylum because they have friends that are from Venezuela and say, oh yes, apply for asylum. You are going to get a permit to work. You are going to get residence permit. It's very easy to get asylum. No, asylum they just give you asylum if you meet the requirements, and that is that you are actually prosecuted by the authorities of your country, or that the authorities of your country are not actually doing anything to prevent that from happening. And that kind of persecution that you are receiving has to come because you are either of a race or a religion or a political party or something like that. You cannot say that you are being, I don't know, that you were threatened to be kidnapped and now that you want to come, or that you were a victim from the organized crime. Even people from Ukraine, for example, that was in a state of war a couple of months ago, they are not getting asylum because they are saying, okay, if you are in the border with Russia and you have problems there and you want to seek asylum, just move to the eastern part of Ukraine, and then you are not longer, you don't receive threats anymore. So there are a lot of permits that you may apply for. Don't waste your opportunity to be legal in Spain by applying for an asylum that you don't have the right to apply for. So it's not like a magic spell to apply for asylum.
Exactly, and the feeling is like that, like, oh wow, asylum. No, asylum. It's true that some things are easy because they try to give a quick solution for the people that really need it. Okay, and yes, you are going to get a temporary permit to work in 6 months, and that is why a lot of you like the option. But in any case, that is not residency. You are not counting residency towards nationality. I know that this person was applying for the Sephardic one also, but for all of you that are listening to me, you are not able really even to fly back to your country anymore. So there are important implications about asylum, and just I tell you, try to find out if there is any other residency that can comply with your requirements, and you can apply for, because now there are very quick very, very quick resolutions for entrepreneurs, very quick resolutions for highly qualified workers, very quick resolutions for golden visas. So really, if you really don't have any other option, do asylum, okay? And of course, it's a good option, but remember that asylum is for people that really are in a bad situation. But it's true that because they don't have time to check everyone's application, they give you these 6 months. After 6 months, they give you the permit to work. While they study your application, which will be denied, okay? Remember, and that you will become irregular when it's denied.
Yes, just to clarify one more thing, we also advise some consulates and embassies, and we have just recently received some information from one consulate stating that they are receiving a lot of people that are seeking asylum in Spain, for example, even though, and something that the people forget is that if you seek asylum and you request asylum in Spain, then you cannot go to your consulate to ask for documents, passport, and things because you are supposed to be being persecuted by your country. So, and some of those cases that they explained me there were people who actually got a very good option to apply for a residence permit here because they have been qualified workers, because they have finished studies in here and could apply for a búsqueda de empleo. But they have friends, Venezuelan friends, that told them, no, forget about changing to Cuenta Ajena, forget about Practica, forget about anything. Asylum is your answer. And no, asylum is not your answer, and it will close some of your doors. As I now was telling you, you cannot go back to your country. You cannot seek assistance from your consulate. It will be very hard for you to do some procedures in Spain without the assistance of your consulate. So please just check your options. You may have lots of them before you apply for an asylum that you may not get.
Exactly. Remember, for all of you that are applying for the Sephardic, we're applying for the Sephardic nationality, you can still apply it from Portugal. We do it for Portugal. But the thing is that for all of you that have been waiting for 1 year from the moment that you went to the notary, okay, and this is very important because a lot of you don't know this, from the moment that already you comply with a year from the moment that you went for the notary, we can put an appeal and you will get an approval very quick because it's taking long. So the Sephardic nationalities are a little stuck right now. From some months ago already. And this is a way that is working very, very well. So we are here to do that appeal. If you are in a hurry, you can always have the option to still waiting. It is the same for the nationality as resident, and not for the Sephardic, the other one. You can do something in order to get an approval after a year, or you can still waiting. Still waiting doesn't mean that you are going to get a denial, but it's true that maybe you wait 1 or 2 more years because there are cases that they are there and they are forgotten by the Ministry of Justice. Okay, another question. Richard says, what is the current processing time for citizenship application? Can Externa help to expedite the process? This is very related to what we were telling. So the thing is, the normal process and the law says it was thought to be already resolved in a year, okay? The nationality. Both nationalities, the normal one, which is the one as resident, or the Sephardic one. It is true that they are not complying with that time, but that we have different way to expedite. One is doing a perfect application. That helps you a lot because when you forget any document or you don't submit a correct document because of the apostille or the translation, or because it was not actualized, it was not issued in the last 3 months. The problem is that until they stop the process, they tell you what is missing, and you submit it, maybe it is like 8 more months because for every step they take very long, okay? So first of all, get a revision, a review of to see if everything was correct or if you can improve or submit anything else that was missing. And the second thing is that after a year, we can put an appeal at the court, and it's working very, very well. Why? Because if not, the ministry has to pay the expenses of the court. So if we go to the court, they usually they see that we have gone to the court and they expedite the approval, because if not, they have to pay for the expenses of going to the court. So it works very, very well. So these are our ways to help you getting a faster approval. Caroline, this is Juan, you read it.
Caroline Fell, I have had a resuelto favorable for my first UK passport residency application. Now I have to make an appointment for fingerprints, toma de huellas, but there have been none available for the last month. Must I complete my fingerprints within a certain amount of time? And can I go anywhere in the Alicante region, or do I need to go to my nearest police office or to Alicante where I put in my application? Okay, so yes, right now the situation regarding fingerprints in Spain is hell.
It is crazy.
Yeah.
It is like the most difficult part of the procedure.
Yes, you have done everything already. You just need your card, and you need the card because they ask you for the card everywhere you go. You go to the bank, they ask you for the card. You go to get your driver license, they ask you for the card, and you have the paper with the resolution that actually that states that you have legal residence in Spain. But everyone and every organization and every institution is used to have your TIE card, and if you don't show your NIE, sometimes you get problems. So yes, and right now, because of the delay during the lockdown, and because this is August, and you know what happens in August in Spain, so the delay plus everything meant that we have a huge delay, and then some of the police stations are really collapsed. So legally, technically, you have 1 month to get an appointment to get the fingerprints, but now they are flexible. They know that they cannot ask you for the impossible, so you try to do your best to get the appointment. But if you cannot get it within that month, don't worry, because they know that they are not going to they cannot ask you for something that is impossible to get. Right now in Madrid, for example, it's taking months and months to get an appointment, and even when you have it, for example, right now in Aluche, in Aliados Poblados, when you go there to the appointment, you have to wait 2 or 3 hours to get your TIE card, even when an appointment that you have. So keep trying. Of course, we hope that they are going to set up more appointments now in September. And regarding the location of the police station, it has to be done within the same province. Okay, so it doesn't have to be on the nearest police station, but it cannot be in another comunidad autónoma. It has to be in the same province. So any police station that you find within the province of Alicante, you can make fingerprints there.
Yes. I hope they fix this, because it should be like the easiest part of the process, just doing the fingerprints, and it's becoming a headache. And the problem is that then the banks and all these places want a valid NIE, so it is very uncomfortable not to have those kinds of appointments. Okay, this is a good question. Eunice, I think it's pronounced, says, I am American. I would love to move to Spain. The lifestyle here is just focused on working and not so much family. I would like to move with my spouse to Marbella. What kind of visa could I obtain? Okay, this is a very general question. We are going to do like a summary or like an outline of the important residencies that there are. Maybe you want to get a consultation to tell us your circumstance, but I'm going to tell you like an outline, and you can complete it, Juan, if I forget some. So very usual one when you are coming here in Spain and you don't have yet a job offer or a business like very planned or very advanced in order to show to immigration, it is the non-lucrative visa. The non-lucrative visa is a visa in which you show financial means, which is 30 for the principal, 30K for the principal plus 10K for the family members. So in total, if you are two, is 40K. And they give you just a residency permit for a year that you can renew it, but it's not a work permit. It is a very good way to come here and get in touch with the society and with everything, because if you are a highly qualified worker visa, you will be able to change at any time to the highly qualified visa. If you are an entrepreneur, you will be able to change at any time for the entrepreneur visa. And if your company is or your business is a little more simple and doesn't comply with the entrepreneur requirements, you can do it after a year of the non-lucrative. You can switch to the freelance visa, the cuenta propia. Or if you are going to get unemployment and it's not as a highly qualified, for example, unemployment in an academy to teach English, it's going to be a cuenta ajena, and after a year of residency, you will be able to do it, which is impossible to come to be a teacher at an academy right now because we are under the employment situation. But after a year of residency, you are fine. You comply with the requirements. So that is why sometimes a 1 year residency as a non-lucrative is good. But in any case, if that is not, or if you are going to buy a property and it's of 400,000 euros, you have the golden visa. But as I'm telling you, if you already have a job offer or you already have a good business, we can already go to the ones that I told you, to the highly qualified or the entrepreneur right away without getting the non-lucrative. So it depends a little in your situation. What are your plans? What are your profile, your skills? And you have a lot of options. Spain is a good destiny, even if you want to work from here remotely. That we have a lot of US citizens coming here and doing that. Okay, Juan, this is for you.
Okay, this is from Jason Lefebvre, and he's asking for a friend. Hi, my partner is in the US, and I would like her to come here to do the pareja de hecho. I just did my jura for Spanish citizenship last month. Can she come as a tourist, and in that 3 months time frame, can we get the process of the pareja de hecho? I understand the requirements are different for each province. So, yes, that's it. That's what we were talking before.
But
okay?
he doesn't have the jura yet, right?
Yeah, he doesn't have the jura yet. So, until you are not a Spanish national and you get the... Yeah, I just did my jura, okay, last month, okay? But remember that after the jura, you will need, if you have the jura, not the pre-jura, and you already have your birth certificate, your Spanish birth certificate, you have to get your DNI and your Spanish passport. Once that you have that, then you can get your partner to come to Spain, as we were explaining before, proving that
in the beginning, go back, because we started with that, with a case that is the same.
Exactly. You have to prove that you are indeed a couple with all the elements. Go back to the original page, and then if you want to register as a pareja de hecho, then we will need to check the requirements of each province, because, for example, sometimes Madrid is a bit tougher than Valencia or Andalusia. And Andalusia, they just ask you for some documents and then you get the pareja de hecho. It's really easy, but Madrid is not so much. Segovia is faster. Each city, each province, sometimes each comunidad autónoma has its own requirements. So we will have to check what kind of that. But for the other part, go to the beginning of this video.
Okay, Mohammed, I had a consultation last week with him, and he wrote me yesterday this email, but I didn't have time to answer. So we are going to answer online. So we share with all of them, and let's see, what do you think, Juan? Because Mohammed and his family is in Canada, and he asked for asylum, okay? And they denied the asylum. They want to come here, okay? So we were talking different ways to come. So Canada is in the exceptions, they can come. But the problem, which I see, is that they don't have a legal status in Canada because the asylum has been denied. But really, they have been in Canada and they are there in Canada. But it is a difficult case to be clear because maybe the airline tells them that they need to check their residency there. So I was thinking and I was telling him that maybe write to the Spanish consulate showing that they were a case of asylum, that they went to come here and maybe try to get a letter from the consulate saying that they have proof, they have checked that they've been at least a year in Canada, so they are in the exception to be able to enter in Spain. But at the same time, it's difficult because a person that is asking for asylum in Canada and they are coming to Spain, if we ask this for the consulate, it is like telling them in advance that they will come as a tourist and try to stay here because they can think about this. So in addition to this, they were telling me yesterday that France, I haven't checked because I haven't had time, but they were telling me that France is accepting people from Canada even without the residency. So maybe all the flights from Canada, they are flying okay. And if in this case, they could come. What I think is that if that is the case, what it could be the best option, Mohammed, is flying to France and from France coming by car. Because if we need to then explain this for the flight from France to Spain, they are checking. And if we need to explain this to Spain, it can complicated. Okay, what do you think, Juan? I think it's going to be complicated.
Yes, I agree. So this is one of the things that they say. Even if you want to apply for a visa at the Canadian consul, at the Spanish consulate in Canada, the first thing that they are going to ask you is prove that you have a legal status in Canada. That's one of the main requirements. And if you say that you are an asylum seeker that has been rejected, then you don't have a real legal status in Canada. So that would be a main problem regarding a requirement to get a visa there, and of course to travel here, because the exceptions from the list, that if you are included on that list, is not the nationality but the residence. But they say the residence, not the legal status of seeking asylum. Even if this has been denied, that will be a part. So there is a very limited option that is called like an exception. Okay, this is a very rare case that maybe you can apply for. The Ministry of Foreign Affairs may be able to let you apply in a different country where you live in if you prove that there are extraordinary circumstances. Okay, for example, say, I want to apply for a visa at the Spanish consulate in Canada, but I'm not a legal resident in Canada. But I cannot go back to apply in my country of origin because if I go there, I'm going to get killed. So because I'm being prosecuted, because I was a nurse for an important politician there, because something like that. And then you may ask directly to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, and this is very hard to get. This is not something very easy, but you can ask for that special permit directly at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, and if they let you, they are going to tell that consulate to apply in there for a special permit in there, not for the 1.4, but for another kind of permit that you may be entitled to. But having said that, this is extremely rare cases. I have only seen once this case before, and it was because the person was actually receiving threats. The government stated that it was not able to protect that person in the country of origin, and they let that person apply in Portugal for a permit, even though she was in Spain. So very weird, almost impossible, just a small window. In any case, I agree totally with what I know I said.
Exactly, Mohammed. We need to. None of the solutions are going to have 100% guarantee. If you want to, if France is accepting that, it's a good thing to come through France and then travel to Spain by car and do a 1.4 in Spain, or try the option with that Juan said, which is difficult, but we can try, of course, and work hard to get it, which is our job. But the thing is that it's not an easy case. Okay, Alex says, I obtained an autorización de regreso before I left while my solicitud de autorización de estancia y prórroga is being processed. Will I require any document to enter Spain? No, that is a perfect situation. With the autorización de regreso, you are perfect. Okay, Redil says, hi, we are waiting for the result of the pareja de hecho, and once we have it, we will be applying for tarjeta comunitaria. My partner is Spanish, and as for my case, I am currently working remotely and want also to submit my certificate of employment, bank statement from other country, pay slips. Are these documents needed to be legalized? If so, how? Thank you. Okay, those documents are not to be legalized because are private, but they are not going to take into consideration that you have a contract remotely. They are going to get a little confused. Just do it if you don't have any way to show financial means, because if not, it's much better to show financial means. Remember, for a couple, it's around 10K. It's the Spanish citizen that should be showing this. And I say this because even if it's you who has the money, try to have it in a share account with the Spanish citizen, because the law is drafted that way. And I wouldn't show that remote contract, because I don't know, you can even have the risk for them to tell you that you are not able to work remotely, because we are always talking about this, and immigration is not very clear about that. So I think you should show a bank certificate, or remember that if the Spanish citizen or European citizen is working, you just need to show that. Okay, good luck. I think Kathy Arvin say, is the automatic renewal of permit due to COVID valid even if we submit a new application which was denied? Wow, good question.
Yeah, this is something that I wonder myself. So, for example, you have a permit that is a non-lucrative permit, and this permit expired within the state of alarm. So you have this 6 months of automatic extension from the 21st of June and until December. No? The 6 months that you have to adopt, and plus 90 days to renew. So I think that is my opinion that depends on the reasons of the denial. Okay, is it something that may be corrected? Then you can. Is it something that is not possible to correct? For example, if you try to renew an altamente cualificado, but you were no longer working for the company, or you did an intercompany permit, and the company that transferred you from that other country fired you, and you were no longer working as something that is not up to correction, then you will not be able to renew. But if the reasons for the denial are some inconsistency, something that may be changed, something that we can work, then you can apply again, stating that you have an automatic renewal and that you want to reapply, changing the things that were bad and that caused the rejection. But if the case was something that is impossible to correct, then no, but give it a try. I mean, you have that automatic extension, and they should be applying what is more favorable for you, because that's what the law says. In case it's something that is difficult to know, then they should go for the best part. So it doesn't make any sense that for people that don't do a renewal, they tell them that they have an automatic extension, and something that wanted to do a renewal, then they get that permit. So I think that will be the case. I don't know if you agree with this. I know.
Yes, for sure. So you already have the denial. I think that we should get the most favorable interpretation of the situation. It's true that is a good question, and it's a situation that we should see how immigration reacts. But in your situation, I think that you need to think that you have that chance of having 6 months more and as Juan says, try to be fixing whatever that situation was that they told you that the reasons of the denial. Okay, if you didn't have enough money, if you didn't work enough, try to fix that. And I think that maybe now we could send like a letter saying that we assume that because we have the 6 more months that denial doesn't come in place, or directly doing it in the renewal. I think I would send a letter now because they are not going to answer it. And at the moment of the renewal, mention the renewal that we interpretate that we can do again. Mention the letter and our interpretation that you have 6 more months, but fix the time that you need to work more, if that was the reason, or whatever you need to fix. You can do a consultation if you want, but don't waste those 6 months not fixing the reason of the denial. But very good question. Okay, Carlos says, I am Venezuelan and an asylum seeker since February 6. My case was admitted for processing. I had an appointment in August at the Prodigy office and I'm still under review. I already had a study stay that will expire. I had a study stay that will expire on October 16. Will I have a problem with my application? Well, and I don't know if a problem, but at some point, okay, they are going to match, and they are going to cross, because right now asylum and immigration right now they haven't find that you have the two things at the same time, okay, but it is a little strange. So from what I understand, you have done the study application first, and afterwards you have done the asylum. That is why you have a study permit until October, and now you have a pre-approval of the asylum. A pre-approval doesn't mean anything because they don't check anything. So I don't know a problem. You are not going to have a problem. The only thing is that if you don't do the renewal of the student application, you will stay with the asylum, which maybe is not your best scenario, because if you are studying, remember that you have a lot of options. If you are studying a degree or a master's degree, you can switch to a work permit and having an approval in a month. If you are not studying a degree or a master's degree, after 3 years of a student, you can change to a work permit, which all of this doesn't happen with the asylum. And in order to get that last residency that they give you after the asylum, because normally they deny the asylum and they give you razones humanitarias, it's going to take around 2 more years, and you will be complying with those 3 years of a student. So it depends on your circumstances. Maybe you cannot afford continue studying, and then maybe it is a good option for you. By making my declaration, believe that I edit all the reasons for making my request under those conditions. Okay, but my point is what I explained. So at some point, close to October, or whenever they cross data, you will need to choose if you prefer to stay in an asylum status, asylum in process, okay, or as a student, okay, and whatever is better for you, that is that is the status that you will end up having in Spain. Okay, I don't know if there are more questions. Jose, how is the Miami consulate about non-lucrative visa? Are they difficult with the paperwork requirements? It's my favorite. I don't know what you think, Juan, but it's my favorite. At least they are fast, and at least they are clear. I don't know if it's difficult or easy because it's always a matter of having the correct documents. But what do you think, Juan?
Yes, they reply to the emails you send them, they answer fast, they give options for people that cannot go there because, for example, right now they are actually letting people apply for this kind of permits remotely, like sending by post everything notarized. So they give you options. I agree, this is a good consulate different from the others, and they answer and they don't think that they know more. They correct their mistakes when they are wrong. We made a consultation the other day regarding a police records that were issued by a local police that they are not supposed to agree with that, but we made a clarification and they ended up saying, oh yes, you were right. So yes, this is something weird. So yes, I agree. If you have all the requirements, if you meet the documents, then it will be one that's good to go.
I don't know if there are more questions. Raquel, I think we have finished. Do you have any tips for applying for pareja de hecho? Yes, of course. Getting empadronados as soon as possible together. But what I always tell you is that even if you haven't been empadronados at the same place, but you have empadronados in Spain in different places, you have a chance, okay? Because when you call to Madrid, they always tell you that no, and I always put my own example, okay? I did it that way. They don't announce it. They don't advise you to do it because it's better, it's clearer if you are in the same empadronamiento together both. But even if you don't have the empadronamiento together for a year, but you have been in Spain at least for a year in different places and I don't know, 6 months in the same one, there are approvals. Mine is an example. So that are the tips. Don't remember to get the certificado de soltería. I don't know if the U.S. Juan, is the U.S. Embassy already issuing the certificado de soltería? No.
Yes, they are beginning to open. Okay, we have had some clients that they say that they have asked them to send an email so they can get them an appointment.
Perfect.
With the declaration.
Perfect. So things like that maybe you forgot to do it, the certificado de soltería, the empadronamiento, and try to get already an account together. It's not a requirement at all, but it's always going to help you in immigration and things like that, okay? Said, can I apply for arraigo social without a contract with economic means of my father, who is Spanish national, for 4 person, 16,000 euros per year? My age is 28. Thanks. Okay, we need to. So an arraigo without a work, it is available with the financial means of your parents. But in this case, your father is Spanish, okay? We have to see if it's Spanish of origin or Spanish of resident, because maybe you have what is called arraigo familiar, that you don't even need to show financial means, okay? In addition, maybe instead of an arraigo, it's better for you, in order to have a work permit, if you can get a job offer of whatever, of something for the minimum salary, so you will have a residency with a work permit, because this kind of arraigo that you don't show work, a work offer, you don't get a work permit, which is the thing I think is most interesting for you. In any case, 16, it is very little for 4 of you, okay? Very, very little. I think it will not be enough. We will need to try to do a little bit of stronger case, show that some of all the other person has a little job or whatever, because it's very, very little. Do a consultation, because maybe we have another solution for you, like the ones that we were telling you. Okay, Kenneth says, can I study a 1-year master while a non-lucrative visa and then switch residency to one en búsqueda de trabajo the latest year? Just curious, thank you. It's a very good question. My interpretation of the law is that yes, okay? Of course, we will need to fight it, because immigration only thinks what they usually see, and they usually see that you came from a student permit to a búsqueda de empleo, and that is the more general case. But from my interpretation of the law, the búsqueda de empleo, what really the requirement says that you need to have the master. So I will fight for that and try to get the búsqueda de empleo, and I think it should be approved. But I also think that for immigration, because it's not what they see usually, it's going to be a little strange, and maybe they try to deny it. What do you think, Juan?
Yes, I think that it can be fought, but some foreigners office may be harder to fight because sometimes they ask for the student permit. What you were saying, they are used to see something that is A, B, or C. If you show them C or F or G, they don't understand and they say, no, this is not to go. But if you have an unlucrative permit, remember that you can renew that permit, of course, or after a year of residence here in Spain, if you have a job offer, you have other options. You can switch, of course, to a cuenta ajena permit, to a permit to work. You can renew and then try to have a different permit. I think that yes, it can be fought, but it will be better. It will be more easy, not better, but more easy to check the other options that you have because you have been a resident in Spain for more than 1 year.
Okay, the last question, because it's late. An arraigo laboral is something that you always are confused. You confuse the arraigo laboral with the arraigo social, okay? The arraigo laboral is after 2 years, but is when Social Security has gone to a place, a company, and has seen that you are working illegally, and the company has a fine, and you have the right to ask for a work for a residency permit as arraigo laboral. Normally, you are what you comply and what you usually do is arraigo social. The arraigo social is the one that you've been for 3 years here in Spain, a maximum of 120 days outside of Spain, that they will check it with the passport. And the thing is that you need to have a company offering you a 1-year contract with the minimum salary, okay? That are the main requirements. They will check the company or the employer if it's a like housekeeping or something that is not a company giving you the employment, it's a person for you to work for the family. And the conditions are to bring criminal records, to get an informe, which is called informe de arraigo, to do a course that is called Conoce tus leyes. But the main thing is being here for 3 years without going back, being outside for more than 120 days and having that job offer. Because a lot of people think that when they reach those 3 years, they could do an arraigo social without a contract. And you can do it if you have a family member showing the contract, but you will not get a work permit. So it's not that useful. So, well, in any case, if you go to the website, please, Raquel, put the website Abogado Extranjería Madrid. .net. If you go to the website, you have all the permits explained and all the videos and everything. You can check arraigos and all the permits that there are available in Spain. Well, Juan, thank you a lot. 1 hour and 20 minutes of talking and explaining. So thank you very much, as always, for your help. We are here, like always, working with the files of our clients. That now we have a lot. It is a high season for immigration because a lot of you come here in September. Thank you for Raquel for being in the back of the live, and well, to all the team that is here working for you, and of course for all of you that are asking and sharing your experience, so we can know what is happening outside our clients. Keep asking us, please, because even if you comment now or tomorrow or whenever, next Wednesday we do another live, so we can answer you next Wednesday, and this is keep recorded, so even if you cannot go live, try to go live, because we like to see people. But if you cannot go live, then you can see our answers, and we can help you, I don't know, with any question that you have. Thank you.